Okay, now I guess you're wondering how I'm going to do head of house this week. The role, I have to nominate 2 people. Well, I'm just going to hand over 2 names that you guys collectively as a group democratically decide. So I will have no part in who is chosen. I'll just act as a facilitating role to count the votes. Does that all make sense? So in that regard, I'll just act as Big Brother. So you can't nominate me, but you can nominate anyone else. And I'm going to do it the way that we do it in Australia. So you'll have 5 points and you can divide them up between 2 people that you choose to nominate. So you'll tell me those one at a time in my office. Cassandra will act as the secretary. She'll come and call you. We'll just go alphabetically through the list. And you walk in and just tell me the 2 names. And so with your 5 points, you have to give at least 1 point to each person. But the breakdown can either be 1 point to person A and 4 points to person B, or 2 points to person A, 3 points to person B. That make sense?
As long as it equals number 5.
After everyone has cast their votes, I will then have a tally board. The top 2 people with the most amount of points will be the nominees. That will then be handed over to you to then vote on eviction day. Make sense?
Yes.
So, if you would like to, in the next period of time, discuss and vote together, you can, but it would be very hard to work out the calculations because it's all a big maths riddle. And there'll be a few little twists when we get to power of veto as well. That will be done a little bit differently as well. So the reason why I'm doing this is because when I won Australian Big Brother, we also had a nomination superpower, which basically was head of house. So one person each week had the nomination superpower that determined, had a big effect on who was nominated that week. I never once got that nomination superpower. I never once had any effect on who was nominated, and I still won the game. So I'm just showing that the head of house role doesn't necessarily determine who wins the game. In fact, I think it's a curse because it's that sort of you set this ball in motion and next week a lot of people react to the decisions that you made. This week, it's a house decision. Democratically, the house is deciding. I'm just a facilitator. Does that make sense? Yep, questions?
How do we know that you are adding up the points fairly instead of just going to the high roller room and just saying that this person had the most points and this person had the most points?
Good question, Maddie. That will literally just be a trust. I cannot prove to you. I mean, if you wanted to individually go around and ask people how many points they nominated and do the math yourself, you can. Canada will be watching. So the only person I'll be lying to is myself and Canada. And you yourself also will be able to know whether you want to lie to each other about who you nominated. I promise you this, I will never reveal who nominated who. I won't reveal that ever. And if I break that word, that's my word broken, and you can use that against me. Canada will be watching. I won't say who nominated who. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, there's also another part of this. If you don't want to participate, you don't have to. You don't have to play part of this, but the 5 points that you would have used to nominate 2 other people will just be put against your name. So if you don't want to participate, 5 points against your name. And that means that you can't be blamed for the people that come out in the wash because the 5 points went against your name. Raul, did you have a question?
Yeah, I have a question. Okay, so you said something about the power of veto, that it's going to be played differently. How do you want to play the power of veto differently if you have no power if somebody else wins it?
You'll find out on the power of veto.
Okay.
I'll reveal that later. Big brother will get back to you. Maybe
Stand by.
I'll be little brother.
Stand by.
Stand by. Bill?
Well, just for everyone, like, can you only vote for one person?
No.
No.
You must
Has to be
choose
between-
2.
Okay.
You can do 4 to 1 though.
Yep.
3 to 2.
4 points.
Oh.
As
Yep.
long as it equals 5. Like 3 plus 2 is 5. 1 plus 4 is
Thanks, guys.
5.
Correct.
And that's
Not that I
traditionally
only have one person or like just for everyone.
that's traditionally how we do it in Australia. Every week, 5 points divided between 2 different people, like cast separately away from the house, but we are never allowed to discuss who we nominated with each other. Okay, so the other part of this is that I'm going to ask you for a reason why you're nominating each person. And that reason cannot be for strategy reasons or because they're a threat. It must be because of how they're affecting your time in the house. That makes sense?
Yeah.
I have a question.
If I'm not satisfied that your reason isn't serious, that you're just being silly, or that you don't have a reason, the points will be attributed to your name. Maddie?
My question is that if, say, everyone, just case scenario, went around the room, or you went around and we all said 2 people that you love, like Cassandra and, I don't know, someone else.
Yep.
Then would you go to the high roller room and be disappointed with everyone's reason and change that
Absolutely
Cassandra
not.
was put on the block?
Whoever you guys nominate as a house will be who is put up. The top 2 on that tally board is who I will hand over.
So everyone is at an equal playing field.
Yep. If in the event of a tie, that the top 2 are the same amount of points, then together we'll flip a coin.
Where are you gonna find the coin?
Well, we'll work out a way that it's fate decides.
But isn't there 2 people that go on the block?
Yes.
You're saying if there's like a tie between
So say
like
there's
4
a tie
people.
between
Okay.
the top people on the tally board. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. So full transparency in that, well, not full transparency because you won't find out. But when the nominees are announced tonight at the nomination ceremony, I will say how many points that person
Okay.
received for
Gotcha.
both nominees.
Sweet.
So this is basically a popularity contest. So if we
But
all,
individually decided.
but as a group, if we all decide not to vote, there'll be 5 points against each one of us.
And then it will
that-
come down to fate for every single player in this room.
And
Do you want to do that? We can
No.
roll the dice right now. If
Do
you
we?
want to do that, we can do that.
I don't wanna
Everybody's
do
in equally.
I don't want to do
I
that.
don't want to do that.
Okay. It's not, there's no trickery. It's just a system where it's fair for all. I legitimately won head of house, so I'm not up for nomination this week. And trust me, power of veto is going to be a doozy. Should I tell you now?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You already dressed
We'll
it.
wait.
You already dressed.
We will wait until the power of veto players are picked.
Picked.
Then I will decide. Then I will
What-
let you
okay.
know. Out of the bag. But there's extra incentive to win. All right. So, alphabetically ordered, Cassandra will call people into my office. Oh, and the other thing is, the points will be koala bears.
What do you mean?
So
Yeah,
I'll
I
give
do
you a
it.
koala bear. You got 5 koala bears. Tell me who you want to give them to, and why. Okay. Any other questions?
So do we get to see the scoreboard?
No. No. So do you want to have a chat for half an
we
hour, or
start
should we just
meetings?
get going? Let's just get going. Big Brother wants to get it going. So first on the list,
Sandra.
It's Cassandra.
Cassandra. All right.
Okay, let's meet.
And you don't have to sit down. You can go and do whatever you want. Cassandra will come and get you.
I will come get you
Yeah.
guys
Go
alphabetically.
do whatever you want.
You are dismissed.
Yeah. And you can talk about whatever you want to talk about. If you want to talk about who you want to nominate, talk about it. Okay, welcome to my office.
Oh, thank